first ever doubleheader at Talon Energy Stadium is following a 3-0 win for Philadelphia Union over Montreal Impact in MLS. Bethlehem Steel take on Indy 11. Welcome into tonight's presentation of the USL Championship. My name is Chris Whittingham alongside Devin Kerr for this one. Both these teams playing in midweek. More on that in just a moment as we begin to preview tonight's match. Devin, we'll begin with Bethlehem Steel, always bringing through the youth in the Philadelphia setup. 7 teenagers in the side tonight for Brendan Burke's men.
You take a look at the founder, Richard Graham, and when he started YSC Academy, that's exactly what they wanted to do, Chris. They wanted to build from the ground up. Goal scorers this year, 5 out of 8 have come from players that are 21 years of age or younger. So no problem taking the youthful exuberance and promoting it to great results on the pitch. What they're going to do tonight is they're going to start young guys and run them right at the back line of the 3-back system of Martin Rennie. They're hoping to do that with some talent up top in the likes of Schneider-Borgelin. Schneider-Borgelin, 17 years of age, out of North Lauderdale, Florida. He's been with the YSC Academy for 2 years. They brought him over to Bethlehem. Okay, great. You've heard that story before. This is a kid who trialed for West Ham back in 2016 and Borussia Dortmund. Actually got the opportunity to play alongside U.S. savior Christian Pulisic. And now what is he going to do when he gets opportunity? Farris didn't look great midweek. Now it's Schneider's turn.
And never more than 19 minutes as a sub for Bethlehem Steel, getting his first start of the campaign tonight in for Farris, who started the last 2 matches for Bethlehem. Meanwhile, for Indy 11, a 3-1 victory in midweek, and the USL's top ever goal scorer taking advantage of mistakes at the back from Swope Park Rangers and bagging a brace for the visitors.
69 goals at the top for Dane Kelly right now, and he looked beautiful in the Swope Park Rangers game. Didn't hurt that he also had Indy Volson getting involved in the run of play. But the problem for Indy 11 against the Bethlehem Steel in the past, they've only got 3 goals overall. All 3 have come in the second half. So he scored in 70 seconds into the Swope Park Rangers game, hopefully to get him going early on again.
Top goal scorers leading the line for Indy 11, who've won 3 on the trot, including convincing 3-1 win over Swope Park Rangers on Monday. The goal for 4 against the Bethlehem side, looking to rebound for a midweek defeat to Charlotte. Bethlehem Steel, Indy 11, next. Live from Talon Energy Stadium this afternoon as Bethlehem Steel will take on Indy 11. Bethlehem Steel coming in on the back of a 2-1 loss on Tuesday night to Charlotte Independent. Shivani Willis with an 80th minute consolation goal as Bethlehem goes down. Indy 11 with a 3-1 victory away from home against Swope Park. As we bring you tonight's team, 6 changes from the team that lost to Charlotte Independence in midweek, Devon.
Unimpressive performance midweek against Charlotte Independence, and those changes are primarily on the attacking side of things, except for James Chambers, who's going to slide in next to Derek Jones. A lot of veteran experience between those two. Derek Jones looking to get some more minutes as he's been sitting the bench for Philadelphia Union. Up top, Schneider Borland, we talked about. Syed Diaz, 6 internationals in this roster tonight, looking to make their mark on this game. Steve Kincaid on the right side. Matt Real, U.S. Youth International, before he departs for his duty on the left. Got the captain last game. Need to find a way to make sure they keep the back line, but also going forward, being fluid in this 4-4-2. You take a look at Indy 11. And what are they able to do? We talked about the 3-back system, but it is fluid. They do a good job on the left side with Ioze, Macaulay King on the right, Maka, not afraid to hit the ball from distance. And also the two guys will tuck in and kind of shift into a 4-back at times. Nico Matern as well as Tyler Gibson done well in the middle. And of course, Dane Kelly alongside Indy Voltsen and Tyler Pasher. Martin Rennie thinking Tyler Pasher has been a great addition in the absence of Illich and Starkov.
As Dane Kelly gets us started, Indy 11, the visitors going from left to right this evening. Bethlehem Steel in their dark blues going from right to left. And the hosts coming in off a performance that is consistent with the youth in their side. Brendan Burke in the week telling us that after a couple of fantastic performances, getting a couple of victories, one against Swope Park Rangers by 4-3, beating Charleston Battery at this ground. A down performance against Charlotte, losing by 2-1. Meanwhile, for Indy 11, they've won 3 on the bounce after losing on opening day to St. Louis FC. They've won 3 in a row, including on Monday night away to Swope Park Rangers. Dane Kelly now on 69 career goals on the ball here, looking for number 70. He's into the penalty area as he'll take the shot towards that back post, and it lands on the roof of the net. An early chance for Dane Kelly, who will partner with Thomas Inavoltsen this evening.
He apparently took notice of what was going on in the open as he tried to net one inside of 60 seconds. We talked about him doing it just outside of a minute last game versus Swope Park Rangers. This is what Dane Kelly wants. Ball out in front of him, room to run, have a little fun on his own. Truly lacking that in their opening matches versus the likes of St. Louis, Charlotte Independence, and Hartford Athletic, but they've gotten better each and every week. Martin Rennie very happy with how his squad's progressed.
As the ball is played over the top in the path of Syed Diaz, who now leave it here with Michi Galina. Real coming in on the overlap, and across to defend is Paddy Barrett. Matt Real flying down that left-hand side. Have an opportunity with Philadelphia Union early in 2018. Is mostly deputized down that left-hand side for Bethlehem Steel, making his 6th start of the campaign. And along with Derek Jones, a few others in this side, opportunities on here to make real impressions, particularly at the home ground of Philadelphia Union. You do see that 90 minutes of football was played on this ground earlier this afternoon, particularly in the areas of the pitch where the action would have taken place. Philadelphia Union 3-0 winners. Corey Burke, Jamiro Montero, and Alejandro Bedoya with the goals for Philadelphia Union.
Continuing in this tradition, Chris, that is the Ernst Tanner system that has been brought over to this organization. You see a lot of uncharacteristic changes from Brendan Burke this year, primarily sitting in 4-2-3-1 last year. Now it's this 4-4-2 of sorts where the outside mids are very narrow on the inside and allows them to explore a bit further in the final third. But they've brought Zandi over to the left, Galina now over to the left, and Zandi back over to the right. And you know, you just didn't see that last year. A lot of times it was much more typical for them to be individualistic on one side.
Tyler Pasher towards that byline, chipping the cross towards that back post. A run here for Ayose. And Gibson leaving it with the Spaniard. As much as youth is the consistent pattern in the Bethlehem side, it does vary with Ayose 33 years of age. There's like Neville Hackshaw, 23 on the bench. For Indy 11, some more youth coming through as well. More of your average USL Championship side. As the ball runs out of play, for King can bring it under his spell. You do see the Philadelphia Union supporters that were at the match earlier today afforded the opportunity to stay and watch this one as well. Watch some of the young players coming through. Bethlehem side that will see more on-field success. Deal with their pattern of youth development. As Dane Kelly doing very well to retreat and win the ball off of James Chambers. Coronel. Neville Hackshaw. You see the back three in the build-up. That will occasionally look like a back four for Indy 11. As nice ball there from Evan Newton, the goalkeeper for Neville Hackshaw. Comes in from Charleston Battery. And on the turn, here's Ina Voltson. Slided through towards Pasher with a lovely first-time ball in the path of Dane Kelly, but just a bit too much pace on it. And Carlos Miguel Coronel able to claim.
It'll be a recipe Indy 11 will try to follow throughout this afternoon match, where they do go in transition. If they can beat that first press by the Bethlehem Steel, get out in the open, that allows the big boys up top with the speed and the overlapping runs on the likes of Ioze and Maka King to get involved in the run of play. Definitely something they'll look to go to on a regular basis.
As Diaz trying to win the ball, but it'll just roll kindly for Evan Newton, moving over from FC Cincinnati. Keeper of 9 clean sheets a year ago, but not moving to Major League Soccer with the club, so now in goal for Indy 11. Of course, made 2 fantastic additions up top, proven goal scorers in the championship. Here's Zach Zandi. Real. And we'll play it down the line for the Panamanian Diaz to chase, and sliding across and winning the tackle, the Irishman Paddy Barrett.
To your point, Chris, you bring in Uni Voltson, you've also got Ilya Ilic, and the league had only seen 2 guys hit the double-double mark coming into last year. We had 4 guys do it last year. 2 of them are now on the roster for Indy 11. So a lot of firepower being added up top for Martin Rennie's boys, and they've struggled a bit going forward, but it's definitely gotten better over the past few matches. Rennie thinks that just with more time, more reps, remember, they've only played 4 games. A lot of other squads in the Eastern Conference already hitting the 6 and 7 mark, so they're trailing a bit, but loads of opportunity for them to gain more experience.
Pasher tried to flick first time, but does eventually recover the ball from Jones. Now, avoiding the tackle there of James Chambers, frustrated with the way that pattern of play unfolded. And the captain for Bethlehem Steel on the day will receive a talking to from our match day referee, John Freeman.
I'm not truly sure Chambo ever agrees with anything that the referee blows his whistle on. The Irishman very vocal about how he feels on the decisions being made on the pitch.
We do see the look of 4-4-2, the preferred system. This year moving from the 4-2-3-1, previously employed by the Philadelphia Union setup. Hackshaw will come for Chambers. Now left here for Derek Jones, another player looking to break through. Started in midweek. Brendan Burke saying these are not the kind of performances that will impress. Nice 1-2 work there from Real, and in Galena the cross is in from Real. And Hackshaw had to deal as Chambers was threatening in the air. Corner for Bethlehem.
Nice to see James Chambers getting involved on the offensive side of things, usually dictating the tempo of play from a deep 6 position, but he does have Derek Jones to help him out in that area today. Just made his way up and trying to get a challenge in. They'll go quick from the side.
And it's taken short and delivered into the penalty area. Left there by Ben Ofemu. And all the way back for the goalkeeper, Coronel. He's already saved 2 penalties on the campaign, including at this ground against North Carolina FC. Pasher leaving it with King, who as well tried to play it first time down the line, didn't quite come off for Maka. Interesting quirk in the way the early season for these 2 teams have played out. Philadelphia playing Bethlehem playing match number 8 on the campaign. Indy 11 is just their 5th match. Bethlehem playing a bit more in midweek. Indy 11 getting the odd weekend off. And while just the 1 point separates them, Indy 11 have 3 games in hand.
You and I were chatting about that. It's so difficult to take a look at the standings at this point in time because you want a frame of reference. But to your point, Chris, at the same point in time, so many matches out there have gone other ways.
Nice first time ball towards Kelly, who's trying to get the better there of Fameux and fouled him in the process.
So you take a look at the top of the Eastern Conference. Red Bull 2, who lost today, by the way, shocking result at home as Loudoun United took them down 3-1. They're sitting out in front, 6 matches played, but Indy 11, this is their 5th match. Dane Kelly trying to make the most of it. His repetition in the starting lineup again. Still haven't really gotten him going on a regular basis. But part of that Jamaican movement that saw 8 guys go to international duty just a few short weeks ago. Expect the same when Gold Cup runs around. And as things funnel down the Eastern Conference, you look at Ottawa, who's going to travel to Louisville today. They've only played 4. Birmingham, they got their win last week. They've only played 4. So it's difficult to go, oh yeah, you know, Birmingham's sitting in 13th and they're on 6 points, and Indy 11's sitting in 7th and they're on 10, or 6th and they're on 10 points. It doesn't really mean anything at this point in time. When things start to shake out, you get around the 12, 15 game mark and a lot more have under their belts, you'll get a better understanding of where you're sitting.
As Cole Turner able to defend, but first the offside flag had gone up. Interesting to see Indy 11 trying to break this Bethlehem press, particularly by playing the ball first time, to not allow defenders to come on and maybe as well to try and break the shape while that opportunity is there.
Press from Bethlehem definitely has been more nurtured in the system so far compared to the Swope Park Rangers match that we saw on Monday night. Swope Park Rangers would imply a similar tactic, but Bethlehem's definitely doing quite well for themselves, pushing that high line up the pitch and making teams play out of the back. It's very difficult to do. Martin Rennie hoping that one touch will get him up and go quick.
As the ball is played into the area, Diaz attempting to chase, but easily handled there by Newton.
They've got the quality on the ball to do it as well. Guys that like the ball at their feet. Even Evan Newton can play from the ground up. Alex Coronel in the center of this back line that's come over on loan from Columbus. And then when the Steel go the other direction, a bit more tactful in their actions. But again, in this 4-4-2 system they're employing, the outside backs tend to tuck in a little bit. The likes of Galina and Zandi, and then that's where the guys up top really have to work in communication. Borland, Sayed Diaz, good representation last week where Galena had actually stepped up top alongside Farris, and just out of the norm for him. The two of them were off kilter the whole night, didn't really have any hold-up play, and it didn't allow the outside midfielders to get involved, and you really saw it on the offensive side of things, truly lacking.
Bolton, who's played a bit more withdrawn and trying to play that through ball towards Pasher, but well cut out. Committed the foul as well. Zandi. Plenty of space for Real. Mentioned the variance in games played. Indy 11 actually currently top of the points per match table, having taken 9 from an available 12. Just the one loss on opening day to St. Louis. The turn. Tyler Gibson, the central midfield partnership. You see the way that it looks as a back 3 with Hackshaw, the left of the 3 with Alex Coronel and Patty Barrett. You do see some influence from around USL. A pair of Orange County players from a year ago in the team tonight for Indy 11 with Coronel and Ina Voltson. FC Cincinnati as well from a year ago, well represented with Newton and Patty Barrett. Also Tyler Gibson. Here's Michi and Galina. And Real, an opportunity to deliver. And it's on the ground. He'll have a second bite at it. And twice, dealing with the near post, is Patty Barrett.
Goes back to Indy 11, struggling with the press once again. Made it to about half field. And a great challenge by Zandi, which allowed the boys in blue to then play the other direction. Nice overlapping runs on the outside. Matt Real getting involved in run of play.
And now Real. Lofty one towards that penalty spot. Derek Jones got a piece of it, but now Matern can turn and clear. Here's Steve Kingay making his first start of the season as well, trying to slide into the path of Jones, but a bit too much pace on it. Kingay, Schneider, Borland making their first starts of the year. The 19-year-old Kingay, the 17-year-old Borland. So now trying to apply the pressure there to Hackshaw. King. Try to play with the outside of the boot towards Barrett, but goes out of play. Again, King's ball cut out, struggling at the moment just to find the available ball. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com as Indy can win the ball in midfield through Matern. It's a lovely poke around the defender, Chambers, but unable to slide it through. Now Chambers trying to probe this Indy 11 back three. Coronel doing very well, the loanee from Columbus Crew. Header back towards that danger area, but no blue shirts there to take advantage.
Thought that was a brilliant pickup for Martin Rennie and the likes of Alex Coronel. Did a great job last year for Braden Cloutier's squad in the Western Conference, an Orange County Soccer Club, and just couldn't retain his services. Columbus Crew deciding to keep him a bit closer to home, and why not? Study under Martin Rennie, quality coach that has put together quite an impressive squad, especially on paper. They have to look like one of the favorites in the Eastern Conference, and outside of the first week loss to St. Louis, albeit not looking like a bad loss now, everything else is just slowly kind of putting itself in proper order. Again, just 4 matches, so lucky number 5 tonight. I guess we should say this afternoon with the sun setting on the stadium itself, right? So accustomed to saying tonight. We have so many games that occur after the 7 o'clock mark, but good chance for them to get things going and get some points on the board early on a Saturday.
The chance looked down there for a moment for Dane Kelly, but able to play that ball through towards Pasher. This ball's over the top again towards Pasher. And some quality runs, the Canadian international. And it's a throw-in for Indy 11.
Quality run by Beno Fameux coming over as well. Realized that Cole Turner couldn't drift with him, and that Matt Real was going to be left out to dry a bit. Good job by the center back, just drifting over and knocking it out for a throw instead of going over the end line for a corner kick.
Gibson under pressure. The ball there from Galina. A bit too far in front, and Coronel forced just watch it run out of play. Martin Rennie in his second season, the Scotsman has managed in just about every pro league here in the U.S. USL, MLS, NASL, PDL. Also temporarily managed in the Korean League. And there, his opposite number, Brendan Burke, in his 4th season as manager of Bethlehem Steel. And then set up in Philadelphia since 2011. And I've seen some talented young players come through his side.
Well, Brendan Burke going with a jacket and tie today. Respect that move. Gonna have to give him a little hard time about that. Always dressed very nice, but not necessarily going the full 9 there as it gets done up, and gotta wonder who put that together for him.
Staying in the Philadelphia Union technical area. Just to impress. As Devin Kerr does for each and every commentary.
There it is. A little dressed down today, you know. just a long sleeve polo.
Coronel to take the goal kick. Only 2 different goalkeepers used this year. Sometimes that number can escalate for Bethlehem Steel. joined from Red Bull Salzburg on loan. The Brazilian. Here's Kingay, native of Cameroon. Zandi delivers in. A couple of blue shirts arriving, but it sailed over Said Diaz and nodded away by Barrett for a corner.
Difficult for Diaz to time this run, as had to start his run a bit early, as it's going to be sweeping to the back post. Unfortunately, not necessarily the best of service put into the box. Just sails over his head, but some quality pressure from Bethlehem Steel in the opening 20 minutes, not really allowing Indy 11 to play out of the back. Been quite difficult with that press they're employing.
And again, it's Real over the corner, as that number is piling up. Again, delivering towards that penalty spot. Indy 11 doing very well on set pieces, as Kingay will try from a long way out and actually hit it off a teammate. It's Cole Turner, who was forward from the corner. The deflection could have profited kindly there for Bethlehem Steel. Instead, it's advantage and counter-attacking opportunity on here for Indy 11. Here's Paschert. There's a run of Anna Voltson available. We'll slide in Kelly instead, who delivers towards that back post. Anna Voltson was waiting, but headed away for a corner by Steve Kingay.
Just like we said, quick in transition. Nice play out of the back this time from a long ball. And there's a look at Paschert just allowing Dane Kelly, once again, ball out in front of him, and that's what they need to do. They lacked it over the first few games. Good look midweek versus Swope Park Rangers, where they allowed him to run with the ball of his feet a bit more and get it out in space. And that's what they need to do, especially when you're trying to break down the press of Bethlehem Steel. You're going to have loads of space if you can break the first line, but then everybody has to be on the same page, consistently working off the ball with each other.
Brief confusion as to which corner was going to be used, so Ayoze will trot across.
Does it really matter? I mean, one of those things that you're already in the corner. I would hit a lot of set pieces. You run down over there. The ball goes over the end line, right over the top crossbar. It's basically in the middle. Does it matter if I go take it from the other side?
Ayoze, the outswinging delivery. Bethlehem Steel doing just about enough. We'll come here for Matern, who will deliver towards the edge of the penalty area. Again, cut out. Gibson, and swing it out towards Ayoze and away to touch. To answer your question, Devin, no, it does not matter. But
to someone somewhere it does, right?
Once the referee decides to follow his wishes, is Barrett doing very well there to flick back towards Newton. Hackshaw trying to play route one over the press. And Paschert can leave it with Ayoze. Does come forward from his wing back position. Here's Gibson. And down well there by King, who lines up the cross. It's in towards Kelly, and it went through both him and Fameux. And dealt with there by Kingay. Fans, follow Bethlehem Steel, Indy 11, and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to USL, MLS, UFC, and much more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Hackshaw putting that back for Bethlehem under pressure. Kelly adding to that effort. Jones. Fameux. Matt Real trying to send it for Galina to chase. They're coming together there with Borland and Coronel. Play on, says the referee, and Borland there to apply the pressure on the goalkeeper. Comes all the way for Fameux. On a lovely afternoon here in Chester. Picture-esque views in behind that goal, currently tended by Carlos Miguel Coronel.
Brendan Burke on the near touchline was absolutely furious with his center back, Ben Fameux, not turning and coming to the near part of the screen, as they had plenty of space to work with. Galena had actually started to peel off down into the corner. wanted his center back to play quickly, and when they reset and went the other direction, things just fizzled for him.
King. Gibson. NASL winner with San Francisco Deltas. I'm playing for a club here in the championship that has title aspirations. King takes the space afforded to him. Slides a good ball in the area towards Enevoldsen, but his touch a bit heavy and swept away. Pasher. This ball into the path there of Matern. Now he'll carry on towards that byline and try and deliver the cross. And it comes off of James Chambers last, and a corner. We know which corner this will be taken from.
Nice little turn here from Nico Matern. Just drops his shoulder. It's around the outside, tries to put a ball in the middle. Deflection over, and another corner kick for Indy 11. Seems to be their only chances so far to really get down into the final third and challenge the back line of Bethlehem Steel. Coming into the game a bit more than we saw in the opening 20 minutes, as the home squad seems to have pulled back a bit.
Ayose to swing in. Delivered towards that back post. The header down. Good fall for Barrett, who flicks on, and it's directed towards goal, and Neville Hackshaw will claim it. Indy 11 and the visitors in front through the Trinidad and Tobago International.
Indy 11 will take it any way they can get it. Nice little move off the training ground here as the ball's floated to the back post. Big center back Alex Coronel does a good job knocking it down, putting it right across the 6. And then from there, to be fair, it's a bit of a domino effect. No good step by the back line. Zach Zandi does not check in to Neville Hackshaw. And I'll tell you what, for a guy that only had one pro goal coming into 2019, he's bagged one in the opening game for St. Louis and the second one today versus Bethlehem Steel. He'll take his third any way they can get it to help his squad out.
Mentioned scored just the once in 82 appearances for Charleston Battery over 3 seasons. And now, with Indy 11 already scoring twice. Interesting on that corner, it's the 3 central defenders that combine. Coronel winning the original ball, Patty Barrett flicking on towards the 3rd center back, Neville Hackshaw. 3 defenders combining to score.
They probably took offense in the offseason when Martin Rennie went out and got all this high firepower up top. It's like, Coach, we can get it done, and why not? But sometimes as a squad, especially when you're on the road, that's a spark you need to get things going. Not the best performance we've seen out of Indy 11, just in the opening 20 minutes, really struggling with the press of the Bethlehem Steel. Done a good job starting to figure things out.
And it's a lovely ball into the path of Dane Kelly! Goal number 70 in the USL. And it's a second in as many minutes for Indy 11, who lead by 2-0 away from home against Bethlehem Steel.
Dane Kelly was scoreless over the first 271 minutes to the start of his Indy 11 campaign in 2019. He has now bagged 3 over the past 120 minutes or so. Difficult for the Jamaican to get going, but as we said, when you give him the opportunity to have the ball out in front of him, run with a bit of pace, and challenge someone in a one-on-one situation, there are few people that you'd rather have in that situation than Dane Kelly, and he shows you exactly why.
You do not afford the USL's best ever goal scorer with that kind of space. He will punish. Scorer of 18 goals in 2017 for Reno 1868. Earning a move to Major League Soccer in DC United a year ago. Unable to profit much. Now back at USL level. Got the brace against Swope Park Rangers on Monday. Now has a third in 2 matches. Real with the delivery. And Newton struggled to track that one in the conditions, but does manage to catch.
It's a weird year for Dane Kelly last year, wasn't it? You get the opportunity to make the jump to the MLS level, but only 2 appearances for DC United, and he made 4 for Richmond. But you think, okay, if you're not going to get reps for United, why not give him an opportunity to at least get more minutes within the organization? That never happened. Now things looking on the up and up for him with Martin Rennie's squad as he hits number 70 on the year. Jorge Herrera will take notice as he's sitting on 67 and an opportunity to grab a few later on today against their foe in North Carolina Courage.
Oh, it's nearly given away there by Barrett. Nearly there to pounce Diaz, but end up rolling for Coronel. Enevoldsen getting turned. Hackshaw carrying on his way. A bit confident after scoring the goal, but the return ball a bit heavy. Get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for either Bethlehem Steel or Indy 11 and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores on your team and get reminders on their next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. It's hard enough for Dane Kelly to turn his way into some minutes when it was MLS veterans like Darren Maddox and Patrick Mullins in the way. Once it becomes Wayne Rooney in the way, that only gets even tougher.
It's a tale of a different tape, isn't it? You're barking up the wrong tree there, Dane. And sometimes that doesn't necessarily work out for him, but he's proven he's such a great goal scorer. And good job by Martin Rennie and his staff going out and recruiting the great Dane. Just one of many that have come in, we've talked about for this high-powered offense. Changed systems, changed personnel, kept some familiar faces, but a lot of new names that have really had an influence on their matches early on.
Anywhere will do for Cole Turner, and actually ends up finding the feet of Zach Zandi. Certainly floated in position on the day. Here's Chambers, nice ball into the path. Diaz in the area, cutting onto his right, Diaz, and Zandi! His first time effort, driven straight into Hackshaw.
Zach Zandi and Michi Galina changing sides around the 30-minute mark, but Zandi does seem to explore a bit more once they cross over half field. There's a good look as the initial ball went in. Chambers, brilliant ball behind the back line. Patty Barrett has no clue which way to go here. Good cutback and a nice little sitter for Zandi. Well done by Hackshaw to backtrack and establish his position to allow himself to make a challenge on the ball.
As it's lofted towards the back post, and Turner, who just tried to do as much as he can to direct it on target, but harmlessly away for a goal kick.
That's exactly the look that they want to give, though, going forward. And that's the new system that Ernst Tanner has implemented within this company. And sitting back, it's the 4-4-2. And they don't sit flat necessarily, but going forward is really where they have the chance to explore within it. So many different options. Chris said it at the top where Zandi seems to float a bit more. You'll see that from the outside midfielders. Zaya Diaz looked like he was the outside midfielder in that situation where he had drifted out but created all the space for that ball to be played in and allowed the delayed run of Zandi to just sit right at the top of the box. Very patient, difficult to get it right, but when they do, it's absolutely brilliant.
Jones nearly doing well there to break the lines and find Michi and Galina. Ayose now going over the top towards Enevoldsen, and the flag did indeed go up. Thought for a moment as he ran onto it that he might just have broken that line, but the assistant flagging. Jones and Chambers. Great job there on that ball through towards Diaz of breaking the lines of Indy 11. Don't play against a back three every week. It does present different tactical angles for everyone involved.
Some of that is what you're seeing from the exploration by Zach Zandi, who's shifted over to the left, started on the right. Galina has now moved positioning over there, but he's really floating a lot, to be honest. Matt Real playing a much higher line. And they're keeping Steve Kingay reserved a bit more next to Cole Turner and Beno Fameux, but as Real starts to push up, Zandi can float in, try and look for more of the ball playing through him in kind of like a false 9-10 type role, but still allow Saeed Diaz and Borland to have their run of it up top. Martin Rennie trying to explain to his troops the switch that they've seen from the home squad and how to counteract it.
If you say heads up,
We see goals in quick succession for Indy 11 this afternoon. 2 in as many minutes. It was similar on Monday, scoring in the 2nd minute against Swope Park Rangers, and then in the 6th as well to Thomas Enevoldsen. Certainly is the power that they possess in Martin Rennie's attacking options.
They were in a great position in that game as well. 2-0, cruising till the 30th minute or so. It was actually like 28th minute where Wilson Harris got involved, striker for Swope Park Rangers, and allowed them to get back into the game. Nice for them to continue on and get the road victory, but again, haven't had a lot of road matches to start the season. Martin Rennie feels that had an idea of exactly what they were going to try and do over those opening matches. I feel like for the most part they've accomplished it. And again, just the 1 loss to St. Louis FC, which, looking at a team at the top of the Eastern Conference, isn't the worst result.
It's a nice idea there from Galena, but Hackshaw calmly turning through his own area. It's a special kind of confidence to do that. Maybe the kind of confidence that comes from scoring a goal.
Confidence, bravery, and borderline stupidity at certain points in time. That's when his manager's on the sideline going, nope, recycle, release. But well done by Hackshaw.
Or hoof it away.
Exactly, yeah. He did so well for so long under Hanhauser and the Charleston Battery, just showing some of that calmness that you saw last year funnel into this squad.
Oh, it's a great ball there from Enevoldsen. Here's Pasher to the area. Pasher, great save, Coronel. Keeping Bethlehem Steel in this one. Tyler Pasher could have just about put this one to bed.
We talk about the high-powered offense of Indy 11. How about the distribution coming out of the back? Initially, Ioze played the ball in to Dane Kelly. This time, it's Enevoldsen who steps down into the middle of the pitch to collect the ball and then play that long 30-yard sweeping ball. A little bit of outswinger to it. Tyler Pasher had moved from the right, seeing that the Dane had opened up some space for him. Couldn't finish it off, but was not his fault whatsoever. It was an excellent individual effort by Coronel in goal.
You saw as well, Paddy Barrett was making a run, but Enevoldsen spotted the ball on towards Pasher. Now then, can they profit from the corner? Coronel coming out, he'll punch. He'll come out here for Enevoldsen, cutting onto his left, outside of the boot, trying to poke it through. A no-nonsense clearance away.
It's a good look of what they're able to do out of this 3-back system, too, and the players understanding positionally what's available. Enevoldsen likes to float in the middle of the field, but always on the left foot of his as well. He drops in, Pasher recognizes it, he sweeps to the left. Paddy Barrett realizing that King is out of position and has the opportunity to make the run on the right. So it's a good flow by Martin Rennie's squad. An even better save by the goalkeeper from Bethlehem Steel.
King and Real going up in the air. Bit of a foul going through Zandi there from Maka. Real. Plenty of tactical instruction coming from both technical areas. Our pitch side microphones well placed. Turner going over the top towards Diaz, who tried to take it down with his chest, but instead came off the top of his head and rolls calmly there for Newton.
Unfortunately, the Panamanian didn't have a great run to himself, hesitated at first, and then went too early towards the ball, has to bend it just a bit. The initial call from Fameux was from his manager, and he said big sweep all the way. Fameux switched it all the way around, and then as it was recycled, Diaz just off the mark a bit.
Mishin Galina. But Iosa doing well to step. Kingay. Attempted ball there towards Zandi, but never the right one.
Just frustration by Bethlehem Steel, still learning the system. And we talked about the young ages and these guys getting reps, but it's also the fact that the formation is always changing in terms of personnel. They have some crazy stat. It's like 103 different lineups through 105 games. So never truly knowing what kind of ball is going to be played your way. It's difficult because you have to trust the system and who's going to be in that spot. But there is some sort of familiarity when someone's playing a ball in where you know a certain amount of English is going to be played. You expect it to check up. Or in the ball that we just saw there, it's going to be floated a bit more to challenge.
Nice touch there from Borland. Now Diaz into the air. Will strike towards goal. I think Borland wanted the ball back after he won it. But Diaz, the Panamanian, decided to take on.
Not a bad idea, but probably the better look to knock this one back. Repay the favor. Probably a better angle and a better opportunity to put something on frame to challenge that man, Evan Newton. Had a very quiet first half, to be fair. First 20 minutes was difficult for the 10 on the field to play out, but Evan Newton hasn't really had to step up and make a bunch of saves.
Jones. Coming forward, Kingay. Mishin Galina to make the run. As he now delivers, and it will come out for a corner. Fifth of this first half for Bethlehem Steel. Rather, excuse me, out for a throw. For a moment that had deflected out of play. Chambers. Turner. See, Real falling of his own volition is Galina's into the penalty area. Will come here for Zandi, who struck towards goal. Now might fall for Diaz. Unable to direct it on target, but chance on for a player of Steel players.
How many second chance opportunities are we going to get today off of deflections? First one in the Indy 11 goal seemed to just ping pong around a bit. This time Galina right at the top. Actually like the first move a bit better, but it was a great step by Neville Hackshaw. And then as it comes back around, Diaz wanted it on the right, found it on his left. Evan Newton had the near post covered.
As Kelly losing his footing, you do wonder if 130 minutes of football played on this pitch starting to take its toll on the playing surface.
Poor player, sniper picking him off from afar. You always look down at first you blame the pitch, then you look at your shoes. It's never your own fault.
No, never.
Never.
Perhaps just feeling gravity a bit stronger today at the Talon Energy Stadium. Here's Kelly. Doing well to turn inside. I don't think he sorted his feet out. Jones. Something of an experienced veteran at 22 years of age in the center of the park. The first ever signing for Bethlehem Steel from the academy. As here's Galina delivering towards Diaz. Took a deflection on the way through, and that forces King to have to play this one. What does it? Rennie wouldn't want his side relaxing despite leading by 2-0. Totally given away there by Kingay. Attempt there from Univoltson to play over the top first time towards Kelly. Came off of Turner though. Can leave with his goalkeeper Coronel. See the frustration there from Schneider Borland. You might have imagined his first start going a bit differently.
Penny for a thought. Can't be happy with everything that's gone on in the first half for his boys.
And he was not terribly kind to their performance on Tuesday night either.
It was a good start. They were quite brilliant for about 20 minutes, and that's where the tacticians that are on the field for Indy 11, as well as Martin Rennie himself, all got together, figured out the system that was being employed. And the movements very different now. High press no longer prevalent for Bethlehem Steel. Indy 11 allowed the opportunity to play a bit more. It's exactly what they like to do. Again, can go in transition at 100 miles an hour, but they do like to knock it around quite a bit. They've been allowed to do so over the latter portion of this first half.
The set piece specialist, Ayose, over it. And it's exactly a demonstration of his specialty. And Galina away on the counterattack. 4 flying forward here for Bethlehem Steel. Which option will he take? Try and go towards that byline, sliding across and winning very well, Paddy Barrett. And Galina goes down. You'd have to say that's a fair challenge.
Great challenge, and keep an eye. Bethlehem Steel exposed now if any decided to go in transition. Player still down behind the scene though. Lovely step here on the defensive side of things. Tyler Gibson's gets beat, and just beautifully done by the outside back, Paddy Barrett.
And Mishi and Galina trying to draw the sympathy there of the referee. The native of DR Congo. Not receiving that benefit of the doubt as you see confirmation of 1 minute to be added on here at the end of this first half. Tackle snapping in at Zandi. Borland caught a bit flat-footed there. Chambers. Hackshaw away. Fameux. Turner. Doing well to break the lines there and find the feet of Zach Zandi. Delivery is in towards Diaz and Borland. And it came off his chest, but he unaware after Diaz went up.
Sure, Brendan Burke's going to have an interesting conversation with his boys at halftime as the lethargicness that was so prevalent in the match midweek for Charlotte Independence is foiled over. How do you get the tempo going again like we saw at the start of the match? Did so well, the youngsters, but struggling a bit now.
As John Freeman brings us to halftime, it is a quick flurry of goals from Indy 11 to have the visitors in front at the break. First, Neville Hackshaw from a corner. Dane Kelly, 2 minutes later, following up with his 70th career USL goal. Your score at the break, Bethlehem Steel 0, Indy 11 2.
look at him again.
Yeah, you gotta look at it.
I gotta look.
His hair.
So
Josh
that
is
means
unreasonable
if you
with
look like
mine.
somebody too, that means you look like J. Cole too.
Indy 11 leading away from home by 2-0 at the break. Chris Winningham, Devin Kerr here for a commentary of this one. Neville Hackshaw scoring off a corner. Dane Kelly adding 2 minutes later. We've mentioned throughout the broadcast the job that Bethlehem Steel and Philadelphia Union have done developing youth in USL and Major League Soccer and in the United States of America. Well, another club in USL is doing the exact same.
Bites where Louisville wants to attack, shooting and scoring. Saved by Caldwell.
Collier.
Yes! Knock back towards Spencer. Brilliant finish.
fantastic players from like all over the states, and it was just really fun.
The pathway from academy to first team growing clear in this league. Again, your score at the break at Talon Energy Stadium. Bethlehem Steel trailing by 2-0 at the break to the visiting Indy 11, who've won 3 on the bounce and are 45 minutes away from making it 4. As we can now take you around some of what's going on in USL. We just showed you Tampa Bay. They jumped to the top of the USL Championship power rankings after 7 weeks of play. Santi Moar continues to play very well for New Mexico United.
Boys from the Western Conference that seem to be the darlings are New Mexico United. Troy Lesane has found a way to keep them close to the top of the Western Conference. They'll look to continue their streak this weekend. Tampa Bay Rowdies, I tell you, they had a great result last week against Louisville. To be fair, they were probably the better squad if it weren't for a late goal by the visitors in the 88th minute to get it knotted up at 1. Louisville City FC, after they try and take care of business against Ottawa this evening, they will have Memphis visit for Game of the Week and see what Tim Mulqueen and his boys can do on the road for Memphis 901 FC.
And that game will be available on ESPN3 as we now take a look at further our Game of the Week schedule. These are games not on ESPN Plus, rather available to anyone with ESPN. ESPN3, you mentioned Louisville and Memphis. ESPN2, we'll see Nashville SC take on Tampa Bay Rowdies. That is a great Eastern Conference clash.
That should be a fun one for sure, as Gary Smith looks to continue the progression in Nashville. Again, a great squad put together. They're another team that went out and got some big names like the Carlton Belmar, Daniel Rios, and of course Cameron Lancaster. Unfortunately, Lancaster is still injured, hasn't got a lot of injuries recently, and New Mexico United will get their opportunity to showcase their stadium. Isotopes Park, also known as my favorite name for a stadium in the league, The Lab.
Outstanding.
Awesome stuff.
Outstanding. Birmingham and Nashville available on ESPN News as well. That's coming up. Our USL Game of the Week schedule coming up next. We'll bring you first half highlights and second half kickoff. Your score at the break. Bethlehem Steel 0, Indy 11-2.
He was good in his beginning career. He was tough in the beginning career.
Bethlehem Steel needing to overturn a 2-goal deficit here in this second half. Chris Whittingham, Devin Kerr on commentary from Talon Energy Stadium as Indy 11 put 2 past Bethlehem Steel in that first half. Coming in very quick succession as we can now bring you our first half highlights. Bethlehem Steel up against it now. Early chance here for Dane Kelly. This is less than a minute in.
70 seconds against Swope Park Rangers. Tried to do it just inside of 60 against Bethlehem Steel as they tried to get the Great Dane going early. It was not meant to be. And then they continued the build-up, getting him out in space, out in transition. That's where he's best. This is against Fameux. Nice challenge. Referee would actually blow the whistle, call a foul, let them restart and go the other direction. Bethlehem actually carried some nice momentum over the opening 20 minutes, some good build-up play. We'll take a look at one that good progression coming out of the back, likes of Union player Derek Jones, finding Zandi, lofts it to the back post, but good job by Barrett crashing back, allowing Evan Newton to step up and make a challenge. Indy 11, about 22nd, 23rd minute or so, started to figure things out tactically of what Brendan Burke was trying to do against them in their 3-back system on the press. They did great. 20, 25 minutes in the latter portion of the first half. Great job in their build-up play. Well done on the first goal. And this is just a great job, as you said, Chris, the back line showing what they're made of on the offensive side of things. First ball is from Coronel, who knocks it down into the 6th. Then a good job by Patty Barrett just extending the play. Neviel Hackshaw on the backside of this buries it for just his 3rd professional goal of his career.
And it was going to be either Hackshaw or King who would get that goal. And very soon thereafter, great ball from Ayose into the path of Kelly.
How many times did we see it last year? He was the one whipping it in with the instep. This time goes outside, allowing the Jamaican out in space, puts it on that right foot of his, and just buries it. Gets his 70 and 70th first, of the 2019 season, as well as his career. Good job jumping out in front, and that's how you do it. You have to find Dane Kelly, got to get Indy Volstein going. They seem to do that. Bethlehem tried to get some momentum coming back into it. This is probably their best build-up we saw overall, allowing the run of Zandi. Again, it's that system where the forwards will drift outside, midfielders will come in. They did brilliantly with it, just couldn't finish it off. Hackshaw the one standing in front. This was, to me, the best chance, although it didn't happen in the back of the net. Just a great progression overall by Martin Rennie's boys. Everybody in such a fluid motion. Indy Volstein stepping back in. The overlapping run by Pasher on one side, actually had Barrett on the right as well. Just a good build-up and a great save by the goalkeeper in Coronel.
As you have a look there at the first half statistics, Possession slightly favoring Indy 11, but Bethlehem Steel with a fair bit of build-up. Just unable to direct anything on target at the moment.
Very difficult for them. You and I were taking a look at the progression from a heat map standpoint of what the Steel have done. It is just a bumblebee of confusion in the middle of the field. You know, they're all swarming around it, and it's great that you've been able to see some glimpses, but you know, the opening few games, we saw much more than that. We saw their ability to explore the final third. That hasn't been the case, not only today, but in the midweek match versus Charlotte Independence. Brendan Burke will understand what his side has been lacking, try and figure out a way to get his youngsters back on the same page so they can really challenge Indy 11 in the second 45.
As we now take a look at the upcoming fixtures for Bethlehem Steel, a couple of games as well against teams linked with MLS clubs, and Loudoun United away from home, and then Atlanta United 2 will come to Talent Energy Stadium. Some chance to get points on the board for this Bethlehem Steel side.
Took the words right out of my mouth, and they do have 2 away fixtures, but to be fair, most of the squads, it's a good opportunity. Atlanta United 2 this year, stark difference than what we saw in 2018. Stephen Glass has done well with them, but still should be able, especially at home, to get some good points. Biggest challenge, Louisville City FC.
Meanwhile, for Indy 11, a difficult away match against New York Red Bulls 2. Some fixture congestion as well, where you see the 3 matches in a week against Red Bulls 2, Tampa Bay, and North Carolina FC. But you see 4 matches in a row at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Lucky for them, they haven't really had to rotate a lot because of the lack of midweek matches. That's going to change over the next few weeks against some very difficult opponents. And to be fair, that's the best of the best in the Eastern Conference. You can make a run through that gauntlet, consider yourself safe and ready for the playoffs.
As we are just about ready to get started here in the second half. Earlier today, a Major League Soccer match was played at this ground as Philadelphia Union beat Montreal Impact by 3-0. Fans allowed to stick around, so certainly getting their money's worth. With over 3 hours of live soccer action here in the Philadelphia area as John Freeman gets us started here in the second half. Bethlehem Steel not going from left to right in their dark blues. Indy 11 in their chain strip white with the blue trim. Is a quick opportunity down here for Bethlehem Steel, and Zandi. Borland will leave it for Diaz on the edge of the area, and that's far better quickly there from Bethlehem Steel. Matt Real and Jones. Mishin Galina. Now Bethlehem Steel can start to probe here, trying to claw their way back in. That's not quite the delivery that was required. Chambers trying to hit first time, and it might have fallen kindly there for Borland, but Coronel there to cut out. Real again. It's now Dane Kelly's got some space. Ina Voltson making the run. Kelly trying to play him in, but doing very well to come across him. Steve Kingay. Ina Voltson furious at the lack of an award of a foul. But the Dane can only be frustrated. Macaulay King and Pasher, who does well to cut onto his left. Acres of space for Spaniard Ayote. Pasher, and again Ayote in space. Down the line at Pasher, onto it. The delivery is lofted neatly, but an easy catch as well for the Bethlehem Steel goalkeeper, Carlos Miguel Coronel.
I have to pay credit where it's due. Kingay did great for his back line on that 50-50 shoulder challenge against Indy Voltson up top.
As here's Diaz, Megan the defender and playing the ball for Galina, but left for Zandi. Again, strikes into a defender. Not too often the case for Bethlehem Steel. Not just early stages of the second half, but on the night. Devin unable to play or have a hit towards goal around defenders.
Well, it's also easiest to say that, oh, it's a 3-back of Indy 11. You would think they would be a bit more exposed, but that's not the case. Jose and Macca King do such a good job of really transforming it into a back 5 at times. Just doing such a good job rotating side to side. Even though they do call it a 3-back, you'll notice that the transactions taking place between the guys on the back line, as well as the outside mids and the likes of Macca King, Jose, it really fluctuates into a back 4, and even the boys in the middle, they become very compact on the defensive side of things. It becomes that much harder to break them down.
Dane Kelly drifted offside. You mentioned, given the action, it's usually King who will drop in and play as a right back, and Hackshaw will move to the left-hand side, but Ayose does his fair bit of defending as well.
It's difficult tactically as well. You scout all week long, and you see something the week before where Maka was playing a higher line, and Iose still got involved in the run going forward, but he was the one who seemed to be the aggressor. Not the case today. He's sitting a bit more retreated on that side, tucking next to Barrett, allowing the left side to explore a bit more, and we've seen that from Dane Kelly drifting out into the channel, overlapping runs by Barrett, and then obviously the brilliant play by Pasher and Indy Voltson.
And Said Diaz will come off and receive some treatment. It looks like his day is done. And coming on will be Farris. Farris Pemi Mumbanya. And the 18-year-old Cameroonian will come on. Looks like Diaz picking up a little bit of a knock there. Also perhaps change that Brendan Burke had ready. Didn't want to start Farris for a third match running. He said he was pushing it, even playing him 90 minutes against Charlotte on Tuesday. As he's straight onto the ball here, delivery into the penalty area will come all the way through. And here's Kingay, lofted towards that back post. And it threatened even the goal there of Newton, who collided with Hackshaw. And the Trinidad and Tobago international goes down.
Farris immediately stepping on, getting involved in the run of play. As the ball made its way back around, just one lofted to the back post. We get a better look. It's the step up by Kingay. Evan Newton comes out and collects. And there's a little elbow to the back of the head of Neville Hackshaw, who's never one to shy away from a challenge and definitely won't over-embellish something that's gone on. Very aggressive defender who always gets involved in challenges, and unfortunately this time he caught the short end of the stick.
It didn't seem like the contact was too bad, but back of the neck could have been about anything.
He'll be all right.
And Hackshaw as well, wearing a bit of the pitch in his quite stylish hair.
Some smelling salts, a little glass of water, a hug. He'll be fine.
I think that last bit, the most important part of that treatment plan. So will be Newton. He's looking for his 36th career clean sheet in USL. Career with Cincinnati, Sacramento, Oklahoma City, and Phoenix. Matern. Ball's played over the top towards Indy Voltson, and the flag will go up. Thought for a moment again that it would stay down. It's a lovely finish, but not going to count.
And the flag went up a bit late, but always easy to tell that the Dane had overstepped his mark. Indy Voltson, the second time tonight, just allowing himself to get out in front a bit early. Needs to hold up that mark and then drop his shoulder and go.
You do see from Indy 11, it's not always the nicest build-up, but they're probing and trying to play between the lines. As here's opportunity on here for Zandi. Here's Zach Zandi, and again, Indy 11 doing incredibly well. As initially, it was Borland. The defensive work here from Indy 11, fantastic.
Can't really fault Zandi for hitting this. He did have Galina on the backside, but Zandi's hit a few with his left foot so far this year. Had an absolute thunderbolt versus Birmingham Legion in week 1.
And there will be yellow as well. Iose going to ask for it as well. And John Freeman is going to slow the game down. And it will be Fameux who goes into the book for that challenge.
He's someone who's really progressed nicely over the past 9 months or so. This time the center back just caught out and trying to track back as they were up for the corner. The center backs were
a bit cynical, that one.
He takes Pasher down. And is the one who's youngest goal scorer in Bethlehem Steel history, just 17 years, 8 months of age. Came on last year as a substitute on an injury to the back line, was able to get an equalizer and an eventual 2-1 victory. His decision-making has come much more regular. Brendan Burke very appreciative of that. You're not seeing as many mistakes from the youngster on the back line. And just 19 years of age, which seems to be the theme for most of the guys in the 11 tonight.
Quite a coming together between Iothe and Zandi. It's a loose ball, though, there from the turn. Advantage given, and eventually return back. A physical scrap now in these last couple of minutes.
Great job by John Freeman to allow the advantage to be played out, and then he realized the window of opportunity closing a bit faster than he thought it would. Blows the whistle, brings it back. Brendan Burke more than appreciative of that, as he had initially gone to the sidelines to get on the shoulder of the fourth official, let him know how he felt.
As Hackshaw just hoofing it clear, but never allowed the opportunity for Bethlehem to watch the ball go out of play. And a throw in here from Kingay. Again, tries to play over the top, shove in the back there from Coronel. As this physical duel continues. The shouts as well coming from the technical area now. Turner. We'll have another change here momentarily, and it'll be Willis coming on for Borland in a moment. Kingay. Turner. Cole Turner again, 17 years of age, lofts into the penalty area. Headed away there by Coronel, but only as far as Derek Jones. In some space, the opportunity is on. And not a bad strike there from Mishi and Galina.
Brendan Burke going to his bench, and so he'll bring on Shivani Willis, and our highlighted player, Shanetta Borland, will take a seat. Let's take another look at Mishi and Galina rotating to the top of the 18. Tries to hit a swerver to the far post. Evan Newton seemed to have had it covered. And unfortunately not the best shift that we've seen out of Borland so far. His first start, only a few minutes before it. I'm sure he'll try and take advantage of the opportunity in further matches, as this just wasn't the best one we've seen so far.
Very direct style of play from Indy 11 tonight, just trying to find the runners breaking the high line of Bethlehem Steel. Chambers trying to break the back three of Indy 11. And in Galena, the two strong there and going for the tackle to win the ball off of Hackshaw.
True to form in 2019, Brendan Burke continuing to explore what he can do with the athletic abilities of all of his players. Kingay playing midfield before and now stepping to the right back position. He got the start. Shivani Willis primarily employed in the middle of the field. He started every game alongside James Chambers in the holding midfielder role. That is this 4-4-2 formation. We talk so much about the interchanging play and how they tend to float a lot. Shivani Willis is actually stepping up in front of those alongside Farris. So much higher line than we've seen out of Shivani Willis in the past. It'll be interesting to see what the Jamaican does with it.
You see some positional interchange as well with Derek Jones taking a step forward. There's now opportunity to chase here for Indy 11, who will come for the goalkeeper Coronel, who will calmly put it out of play.
He's warming up on the wrong side.
Supporters that have stayed behind cheer on the USL Championship team. Always want to see what's coming through. There are always talented prospects in this Philadelphia system. See Brendan Aronson making an impact for Philadelphia Union. Is now the chance is on here for Bethlehem Steel to do something with four runners going forward, but the ball there from Farris, not what the Cameroonian would have wanted.
And the Forge always excited to see, as you mentioned, the youth players coming through their system. They don't have to travel to Goodman anymore to check them out. Now they can hang out at Talent Energy and see what Brendan Burke has been nurturing during the week. I mentioned Brendan Aronson. He seems to be the recent one who's getting the repetition for the Philadelphia Union. Derek Jones has been there before, and of course Austin Trusty. So the YSC Academy just continuing to pump out loads of talent.
And more sides in Major League Soccer producing that talent. Philadelphia appear to be at the forefront. Chance on now for Kingay. Easy there for Coronel to deal. Pasher. Kelly trying to hold the ball up, and now Pasher can run onto it. He tried to play it first time towards Zina Voltson, might still be able to play the ball towards him, and the Dane frustrated that the ball didn't come. Kelly. A turn. Straight towards Willis. And the ball did roll out of play for a throw-in. That is unpleasant there for Shivani Willis.
This ball 100% came off the hand. It was not off the midsection whatsoever. Though you track back, you wonder why Pasher didn't release the ball into Indy Voltson, who was making a break. The first one came off a deflection. He reset himself quite nicely. Danish international had stepped back and allowed him space to open up in the middle. Wide open, didn't play it in.
Kelly afforded the opportunity to run. He'll play it towards Ina Voltson. Here's Thomas Ina Voltson outside of the boot towards the back post. And Macaulay King was making the run. Better ball. Could have been 3-0.
Indy Voltson's so good on the ball in distribution. More than willing to hit the back of the net, but definitely known for his distribution skills. This is not the best. Well done by Dane Kelly once again, one-on-one. Cole Turner had slid over as though Fameux made the progression out. Good backtracking by Kingay as well. Indy Voltson should have done better.
And now a chance on here for Galina. Going towards that byline, goes down. And I believe we're going to see yellow for Mishi and Galina for simulation. Or rather, it'll be a free kick on the edge of the penalty area. I thought for a moment when the referee trotted over that it was either penalty or simulation, but it's in between. It's a foul for Bethlehem Steel. Let's have a look.
Galina challenging Neville Hackshaw on that left side. That is not a foul by Hackshaw whatsoever. And Galina's feet get caught up on his own run. Lucky, number one, that this is just outside the box. Unlucky that the referee had to use his whistle in that situation. You wonder if he had a look at the AR on the near touchline to see if he was going to consult him whatsoever. As to his opinion, not the case. Instead, gifting Bethlehem Steel a dangerous opportunity about halfway through the second half.
As Matt Watson being prepared to come on for Indy 11. Real over the free kick, literally just on the edge of that penalty area. One blue shirt standing on the line. Another on the edge of the 6-yard area, and about 4 on stump level with the penalty spot. What will the ball be from Matt Real? And it's towards 6-yard area, easily dealt with by Indy 11. Header is on. Will come to the right-hand side. The strike is in, and well handled there by Newton. If he spills, Bethlehem there to pounce as they strike him in from Mishin Galina. This ball is played over the top quickly by the goalkeeper Newton as Pasher tried to get something on it towards Kelly. So now have a look again at the strike from Mishin Galina. And just a moment. As here's Real. The sun continues to set on Talent Energy Stadium. Lofted in. That'll be catching practice for Newton as we saw Watson being prepared. He'll come on for Maka King. Losing out there Gibson. In a pocket of space, Farris. Lovely touch to send himself on his way. Laid it in towards that penalty area, towards Willis. And Barrett coming across to win the ball. And fouled by the aforementioned Shivani Willis. There's the confirmation of the change. 34-year-old Englishman Matt Watson come on for his 5th appearance of the year, 3 from the substitutes bench. And it's the right wing back Macaulay King who will come off. I wonder if Devin, this will force a change in shape, given that Watson typically a central midfielder.
Yeah, it's interesting because he actually started the season as their outside midfielder, and that's not a role that he's traditionally been employed in, holding midfielder roles and sometimes progressing into an 8, but almost assuredly used to the 6. It's a good look at Barrett paying the dues to Matt Watson, allowing him to wear the captain's armband for the remaining match. And traditionally, he would sit deeper and much more of a central role, but that hasn't been the case under Martin Rennie since he's come in here, and he's played outside a bit more, and you would think that he would tuck inside, but that isn't the way things have gone. They've allowed him to play a higher role and much more offensive-minded. He's excelled at it so far, but had to sit behind Macca King over the past few matches.
Dane Kelly doing well to apply the pressure there on Fameux. Did well to get turned and leave it with his goalkeeper. Trying to apply the pressure there, Farris. And again, Coronel again winning in the air. Nice touch there from Jones. There's Derek Jones now going to play the 1-2 with Mishi and Galina. And he'll leave it with Kingay. And the triangles there on that near side. Came off of Jones, but a foul for Mishi and Galina. And a free kick here for Bethlehem Steel. Spent the better part of the opening 20 minutes of the second half pressing on to try and get the goal. Indy 11 very much pinned back.
Derek Jones immediately started barking at John Freeman. He was upset that he didn't get the whistle sooner, but our referee doing a good job of allowing them to play on when he thinks advantage might be applicable.
And it's Chambers over the free kick. This is a better delivery, but again, cut out. Like Ina Voltsen, who did well. Now Nico Matern trying to win the ball. The German will come here for Pasher. Options to play the ball. And he'll loft it towards the run of Ina Voltsen, who has Kelly available, the only man open in the penalty area. Going to try and win the ball off Coronel. But Bethlehem Steel doing well to snuff out the chance. Jones. Zach Zandi. Jones looking for the option, turning, and left too much of it there for Matt Watson. Runs off the ball in the direction of Real. Ina Voltsen again, and Dane Kelly offside again. And you hear the shouts from the Indy 11 technical area, but they could have no complaints, Devin.
He's a mile off. He's well outside of the boundary of being anywhere close to in on that ball. And that's unfortunate because we've seen it 2 or 3 times from Ina Voltsen, and that one's from Dane Kelly, where there's loads of space there. The decision making on the run just lacking a bit to get that 3rd goal that would most decidedly be the dagger in this game.
Zandi. See as well from Indy 11, almost no patience in trying to find that ball. They're looking for that opportunity quickly and try and catch Bethlehem Steel out.
You can see defensively they're more than willing to sit back a bit deeper than they were in the first half and give the home squad a chance to play. They're just packing it in again. They've got that 2-goal cushion, so why not? It is a score that you never want to trifle with. They always say the 2-0, one of the most dangerous score lines in all of the game. As you grab one, you grab the momentum, you go out to get the second one quite easily. On the other side of the table, you grab 3, and it's down for the count for Bethlehem Steel.
Watson has indeed settled in that right wing back position. Supporters on hand. Good to see the families having a day out. Quite an afternoon's worth of entertainment. Ayose. Pasher. Gibson. Barrett. Talon Pasher has drifted all over. Winning the ball for Indy 11. Voltson. The overlapping run from Matt Watson will instead leave it with Tyler Pasher. His strike towards goal! Forces a great save out of Carlos Miguel Coronel. That had eyes for the top corner.
It's a good save in general, yet alone the fact that goalkeeper was well off his line, almost at the top of the 6 here. Good decision making to track back, but probably a bit further up than he'd like to be. Tyler Pasher trying to pick out that far corner. Once again, the Brazilian producing a spectacular save to keep his team in this game.
He's had to make a couple. Goes it to take the corner. Hackshaw rising. And first, a free kick against Indy 11, perhaps, or rather a goal kick. As the ball drifted out of play before it curved into the penalty area. Coronel, who has also played for Philadelphia Union this year, kept a clean sheet in their March 23rd win over Columbus Crew. Free kick for Indy 11, and Patty Barrett played route one towards Ayote, but too far out in front. What do you make of the direct approach from Martin Rennie's men here in the second half?
It's gambling a bit. You know, they're sitting a bit deeper, and as a coach, you never want to truly gift opportunities to Bethlehem Steel. They haven't necessarily done that, but they've allowed them to try and explore the final third a bit more, especially more than they did in the first half. But again, when you're on a 2-goal lead, he has the confidence in his back line to withstand the pressure. For the most part, they've done pretty well.
Gibson. Barrett, a bit of a loose touch there. And Mishin Galina catching a bit too much to the Irish central defender. It's poorly given away there by Voltson. Now chance on here for Bethlehem Steel. Charging on his way, Farris. He's got the run of Galina available. He'll try and play him in. And Newton racing off his line. But the chance look on for Farris to run at defenders.
It's an area that Brendan Burke will tell you Farris really struggling with his decision-making in the final third, understanding what runs are going to come his direction. There was a bit of space, yes, by Galina to be put in, but when you've got a trailing run of Neviel Hackshaw, who's so quick and understanding of where he needs to be positionally from a defensive role, sometimes it's better off as a forward to just keep it yourself. You know, maybe step on it, bring it back and recycle, or better net, have a go at goal. Evan Newton really hasn't had that many opportunities thrown at him, so why not put something on frame? Worst case scenario, Galina gets a follow-up opportunity.
Fameux doing well to win off Pasher. Mishin Galina. Lovely step over there. Low-driven ball through the penalty area, and going down off the challenge of Coronel there was Farris. And a corner for Bethlehem Steel.
Farris felt he was fouled, and he kind of gave a look in disruptiveness, like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have gone to ground here as easy as I did. He does step in. There's no foul there whatsoever on Coronel, and the home squad will get a chance from a set-piece corner.
Opted in by Zandi, and easily away by Indy 11.
They've been lacking in distribution, both from James Chambers in dead ball situations as well as the corners they've had opportunities on. And they bring their big center backs up to try and get something going, or maybe shoot something to Shavani Willis. That hasn't been the case. Poor all day long for Bethlehem Steel in those situations.
As Willis tried to win that one, now Matern again trying to break the lines, and Tyler Pasher's away. Goalkeeper way off his line. Pasher to seal the job, and he's done it. Tyler Pasher with his first goal of the campaign. Indy 11 lead by 3-0, and look well on their way to a 4th win on the bounce.
Martin Rennie told us that this was the man who has really taken full advantage of his opportunity. Eugene Starkov out with injury, so is Ilya Illich, one of their big offseason acquisitions. And he's stepped up there nicely with Indy Volson. Great through ball in. Coronel sees that his back line has been exposed. Cole Turner trying to track back in transition. Dane Kelly allowed himself to be available on the far post if he wanted to, but the Canadian so collected down in to his progression on the offensive side of things. Buries this one in the back of the net, and that will almost assuredly be 3 points for the visitors.
Second goal for the club in as many years.
Where's the pressure? Where's the press?
Kinge. Bishi in Galena. Seen Indy 11 try again and again in this second half to create that chance, which fell to Pasher, who had a great chance as well in the first half that Coronel was equal to. That time, the Bethlehem goalkeeper off his line. Pasher very calmly taking the touch around. You question the decision at all to come off, or do you feel that was the right one from Brazilian goalkeeper?
You don't mind it, do you? Because the back line's already been exposed. There's too much space, so he's basically turning himself into a defender. If he can get off a half step quicker, he probably gets to the ball. If you sit back, you allow yourself not only the opportunity for Tyler Pasha to come closer to goal, but then your defender starts to step. They've got Dane Kelly on the back post, so you're almost in a lose-lose situation where you're caught in no man's land. You allow the goalkeeper step out, try and make a challenge, maybe a game-saving opportunity. He couldn't do it, so it's not the wrong one. But it really is what Indy 11 has been trying to do here in the second half. We talked about the offensive side, just not the best decision-making when it came to those runs. Indy Volson got it wrong, Dane Kelly got it wrong, but Tyler Pasha gets it right to put this game to bed.
And it's Derek Jones will be the final substitution for Bethlehem Steel. Yomi Shintu will make his debut for Bethlehem Steel. Jones from the lower leagues in Germany, the native of Ingolstadt in Germany. And what might he be able to do? As Indy Volson now trying to create another chance here for Indy 11, and it does come here to Tyler Pasher. Instead of trying to play it for Dane Kelly, we'll move towards the corner flag and leave it with Ayose. Pressure for Hackshaw. Cronelli. Return. And Barrett all the way back for goalkeeper Newton. And Galina is going to apply the pressure, and Newton away. Now Fameux can only turn towards white shirts, and he gets the rub of the green there. Able to play it for Zandi. See, Shintu is playing forward here for Bethlehem Steel on the ball now. Try and play it towards the run there of Kinge, who would come forward. Throw in for Bethlehem Steel.
How lucky was that by Benno Fameux? He almost got his pocket picked by Indy Volson. And like you said, if it weren't for the fortuitous bounce of the ball coming his direction, Indy 11 were in again.
Chambers a bit heavy for Turner. Just hasn't been sharp tonight from Bethlehem Steel. And Brendan Burke will be frustrated that it's a second consecutive performance that just feels a bit like that. He said that despite the fact that they only lost by 2-1, getting a late goal from Shivani Willis, that it felt more like a game that was 5 or 6 to Charlotte Independence earlier this week. As again, the ball is played long. Indy Volson there to take advantage of a mistake there from Ofemu, but the central defender did well.
It looked it too, and they've kind of just funneled this over into this game where it looked good for 20 minutes. They had a few spells versus Charlotte Independence, but that's just not the case here this afternoon. I said to you at halftime, they're really lacking Shivani Willis in the middle of the field, but when you bring him on and you keep James Chambers and Derek Jones, you're really keeping some very similar play out of 3 players. Shivani Willis, not the most attack-minded player.
Nice turn there from Farris, who tries to go towards goal and win a foul as well, but referee not any kind of interested. Now Kelly is going to be 1v1 against Cole Turner, who won the initial ball, but Kelly doing well to win the second. The Turner doing just about enough. And again, I think it was an unfortunate bounce there off the touch from Kelly.
Unfortunate bounce, and Cole Turner could have easily put his head down, but instead went right back at the all-time leading scorer. Good shoulder charge to win the ball back, go the other direction.
Galina was available on the edge there. The ball from Diaz. Diaz electing to turn and leave it with Matt Real, who himself has cut a frustrated figure at times. Martin Rennie will very much appreciate what will feel like a job done. 4 wins from 5 start this campaign. If this result holds.
Chris, you brought it up earlier. You don't see many 3-back systems at any level, yet alone with the USL Championship. And that's some of the growing pains for Matt Real as well as Steve Kingay on the right side, where having to account for where players are going to be. It's real easy when you say, okay, you've got the forward stepping over. In this situation, you've got overlapping runs by the outside back on the right, as well as the midfielder stepping in with the occasional outstep of the 10. That's not the case. He has to keep an eye on Tyler Pasher. Dane Kelly is pushed over there, and Indy has been all over. It's constantly moving his head on a swivel to figure out exactly where his mark's going to be. Hasn't been able to step up.
Here's Kingay in the penalty area. Plenty of contact going through the middle. Now Coronel gonna have a coming together. And it's a yellow card as well for Farris. And Coronel was fuming after that challenge. And Coronel is not gonna stay silent. Have a look again at what happened in the air between those two. First though, confirmation of a change. Kenny Walker will come on now for Tyler Pasher. So the goal scorer's night is done, and a bit more of a defensive look as well. Another addition into central midfield with Walker coming on.
He earned his money today, didn't he? Great job by Tyler Pasher. Real nice shift that he put in. Now a chance for Kenny Walker to get some minutes under his belt. Been struggling coming back from injury. Asked Martin Rennie about him. He said, you know, Kenny's healthy, definitely not going to start. But they're trying to find a way to get him back into rotation within this starting 11. And we said it coming on to air that Tyler Pasher would be one to keep an eye on based upon the fact that Martin Rennie felt he had done so well in the absence of some other big names. Good job by Tyler Pasher, and nice to see him get on the score sheet.
A confirmation there of the yellow for Farris. Throw in for Indy 11. Dane Kelly there being forced to do plenty of solo work. Leading the line here for Indy 11, Hackshaw. And Matt Watson. Lovely first time ball there from the substitute Walker. Now Ina Voltson looking for the right ball. It's towards Kelly. Again, Kingay had to get that spot on or else Kelly was there to profit. Perhaps looking for goal number 71 in USL. He has been the class of this division for some time. The idea there from Chambers to try and slide in Galina, who has a tug at Watson as well. And now another coming together. This game is getting chippy, isn't it? Mishi Galina, just 19 years of age, face to face with a 34-year-old Watson. Well, he's seen a lot in the game. So it's just that extra tug there from Watson.
15 years as senior, but not backing down, is he? Matt Watson actually looked like he came up lame just before the challenge. Keep an eye on that. Brendan Burke asking what's going on the far touchline. Wants John Freeman to speed things up. If you're going to discipline him, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, we've got a job to do. Down 3 goals with just 8 minutes to go. Every second so precious.
Brendan Burke would not be pleased with the performance from his side this evening. In front of a bigger crowd than usual. Want to see some of young players coming through, putting in a performance. Instead, 3-0 lead for the visitors. First tack shot, Dane Kelly and Tyler Pasher in the second half. 2 goals in 2 minutes in the first, after plenty of resistance. Third coming midway through the second. Ayosip. Really chip ball into the penalty area towards Gibson. Tries to slide it across towards Ina Voltson. Bethlehem doing just about enough to snuff out the chance. I believe Dane Kelly would have been offside if the ball came to him. Instead, Chambers putting it out for a throw-in. Kelly losing his footing. Dane Kelly taken off it there by Willis. Charging on to win the ball there, Barrett. And Walker only leaving the ball for Watson. Play 180 minutes of soccer on any playing surface. It will start to wear, which is now the case after Philadelphia Union won by 3-0 on this ground earlier today. Is very much showing signs that that game was played earlier today. It was playing surface.
Patty Barrett caught a slip just at the end of that progression by Indy 11. What's not going to show up on the score sheet is his challenge just before, as Galina was stepping out from the middle, trying to go in transition with Bethlehem Steel. Good job by the outside back to understand the attack coming that direction and just push it the other way.
Now Fameux having to leave it with Coronel with Ina Voltson applying the pressure. Now Gibson and Chambers in an aerial challenge. Again, a player losing their footing as Farris goes on his way. Second ball comes kindly. Opportunity now for the substitute Shintu, who tried to play it towards that back post and Mishi and Galina, but cut out well there by Hackshaw.
Little fight left in him, isn't there? 5 minutes to go, but not backing down from the physical challenges, and mentally it's got to be dragging on you. As a youngster just kind of being beaten into the ground today. Maybe get some momentum at the tail end of it to progress to next week.
Real lofting into the area. Indy 11 been superb defending set pieces today.
Yeah, we were critical of Bethlehem Steel early on and how poor the balls being knocked in were, but we didn't really pay credit to the backline of Indy 11 and how well they'd organized themselves. Give credit to Evan Newton and Alex Coronel in those situations. Communication, the key to success. Anytime you're getting to set up on the defensive side of things, but especially when it comes to dead balls. So much movement on and off the ball, and those guys do such a good job keeping them organized.
Referee John Freeman is going to sort things out. I've seen the referee point to his temple before and say something, our pitch side microphones saying, "Be smart." I never knew what was actually said when a referee puts his finger to his temples.
Could have told you that a long time ago. I got that finger wag many a time. Devin, be smart, pay attention.
The header there from Fameux actually fell kindly here for Ina Voltson. Ina Voltson for Dane Kelly. Now on the turn, try to dink it towards Gibson. Might have done better to shoot towards goal. Now the first time ball has Newton well off his line. And the turn doing well just to take down the touch. And Galina with the foul there.
It's difficult when you've got a goal scorer who is consistently finding the back of the net, referencing Dane Kelly. He's got a run here coming to the 6, but if he lets this go, Tyler Gibson can have a shout behind him and absolutely ping one on the 8x8 to challenge Coronel. Unfortunately, Dane Kelly had other ideas and didn't really make the most of his opportunity. Nico Matern picked up a nasty little knock in the middle of the field as well. Keep an eye on that. He's got a hitch in his step.
Kelly trying to flick first time towards Gibson, who had not yet made enough progress on his run. Despite leading by 3-0, with 2 minutes to play. Indy 11 still very much putting in a shift. Dane Kelly in particular up top. He's got his goal, but is still doing the defensive work. Quality of the professional coming through. Chambers. That was a bit heavy there to the feet of Willis. Now Kelly's in some space, but again the flag up against him. The 7th time an Indy 11 player has been flagged for offside. Much playing on that edge. Break the lines and has occasionally yielded some chances. As Farris has a chance on, trying to go outside of the boot with his left, and comes off Hackshaw last for a corner.
Farris much more active than we saw for Charlotte Independence in the midweek game. Still struggling though. You can see the Indy 11 backline very composed, causing frustration by the boys in blue up top.
Chambers lofting towards that back post. Header came in. Out of play for a goal kick as we now have a 90th minute change here. Alioune Diakite, 25-year-old Senegalese forward, will come on for Dane Kelly. If we were at home, would certainly be receiving quite the ovation. And the Indy 11 supporters, maybe an ovation coming from the couches across Indianapolis, perhaps even the pubs. So what a shift he has put in now. 3 goals in 2 matches. Took him a second to get in the flow of things, but if your opposing team's coming against Dane Kelly now, you might fear that he is now a striker in form.
Not a good thing. you better believe the scouting midweek has definitely changed as Dane Kelly starting to find his way here in 2019. Brickyard Battalion, traveling visitors, more than happy to pay respect to their talisman up top. And when you get him, Eni Voltson, Tyler Pasher, and remember, Starkov still injured, Ilya Illich still out. I think that timetable might be a bit longer, so it's good to see these guys coming into form, especially with the fixtures that they have that are going to be up and coming.
And Diakite comes in from the Indy 11 Open tryouts. Martin Rennie says, certainly valuable to this club. Saying after the signing of Diakite, quote, a lot of people think that tryouts aren't that valuable. But Alioune proves that they are. Well-traveled player in Lebanon, Serbia, and the Ukraine before arriving shores of the United States with Indy 11. We've played a minute of 2 minutes. Second half stoppage time as I'm still attempting to apply that pressure. Indy 11 have just been a class above on the day, reflected on the scoreline, and now in the table as well, as Indy 11 continue to climb in the live standings, now up to 3rd, with a game in hand on St. Louis and New York Red Bulls, 2 above them. Red Bulls 2, who lost earlier this afternoon to Loudoun United. As that ball runs out of play. And a goal kick here for Indy 11, which should just about be the last action of this one.
It's still even weird to hear. At Red Bull 2, mind you.
Indeed.
That's
a first victory in USL Championship for Loudoun United.
good for them. That's nice to see. And saw them a few weeks ago taking on Memphis 901 FC. You could see the talent on the field for sure, but a lot of youngsters similar to Bethlehem Steel just struggling against the bigger bodies.
Indy 11, 3-0 victors on the day. Neville Hackshaw from a corner. Dane Kelly with his 70th career USL Championship goal. Tyler Pasher making sure in the second half, and Indy 11 have won 4 in a row.
Brilliant stuff from Martin Rennie's squad on the road. Again, mind you, only one home match, but now look what lies in the wings. They have a boatload of fixtures coming up. They're going to be very difficult to handle. Brendan Burke and his boys, they'll go back to the drawing board, have dropped back-to-back matches, 3 of 4, but they also have a good opportunity on the other side. They'll take on Loudoun United, ATL UTD2 in Ottawa, a good opportunity for them over the next 3 to get back on track.
And Indy 11 now soaring up the table. There were expectations for this side coming into the year, and now the results are coming in. After losing on opening day to St. Louis, they've won 4 in a row, as we now bring you full-time highlights from this one at Talon Energy Stadium. And the chances would come early and often for Indy 11 as the corner, 3 central defenders combining, and Hackshaw turns in.
We talked about the back line of Indy 11 and how good they were on set pieces. Unfortunately, Bethlehem Steel did not replicate it on the other side of things. Good job by Coronel into Barrett, Hackshaw. That's an interesting score line that you don't necessarily hear in general, yet alone from Indy 11. Dane Kelly getting in on the act once again. Bags his 70th of his USL career. He's the all-time leading scorer. Good stuff in transition. Ball out in front. Bottom corner. No, I'll go upside. Thank you very much. Coronel couldn't get it. And you saw some resurgence from the visitors, but it just truly wasn't enough as Indy 11 continued to push the pace in the second half. They had no problem sitting back, allowing the opportunities to come to them. Bethlehem Steel would overstep their boundaries. They would go in transition the other way. It was chance after chance and a lot of bad decision-making by Dane Kelly and Indy Bolton with regard to their runs. They didn't bend them enough. They didn't hold up. They were gifting away too many opportunities. This time, Tyler Pasha said, "You boys don't want to do the dirty work? I'll get it done." Coronel tries to challenge them about 25 yards out, gets around the goalkeeper, buries the 3rd goal in. Phenomenal 3 points for Martin Rennie and his boys as they continue to roll.
And you see possession overturned in the second half in favor of Bethlehem Steel. They were pressing to try and get that goal to get their way back into the match, but Indy 11 clinical with their 5 shots on target. They score 3 times. The frustration, though, from Brendan Burke's point of view, just the 1 shot on target in 90 minutes, that would be a source of great frustration for Bethlehem Steel.
You saw a lack of ball movement in the middle of the field, as well as the true point man up top, and really couldn't get on the same page. They tried to get things going in the second half, but just too little, too late, and he'll be frustrated with the performance. But the good thing is, another opportunity right around the corner. Get some rest, good training sessions in during the week, get back to work.
It was a great day for Indy 11, a 3rd away win on the campaign, a 4th win in a row. Dane Kelly with goal number 70 in USL on the day. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and it's 3 points for Indy 11, who went away from home by 3-0 against Bethlehem Steel FC. For our terrific USL crew and broadcast partner Devin Kerr, my name is Chris Whittingham. Indy 11 winners on the day over Bethlehem Steel.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.